Hey guys, Julia here. Welcome back to another video, and today is a super exciting video. I've reached the end of my bullet journal, the one you all know and love, the Arch and Olive A5 Crescent Moon 192 page journal, and today I'll be setting up a brand new journal in a somewhat brand new size for me. In 2019, I ran through a larger journal and really enjoyed having all that extra space to sort of like stretch out in. So although I really enjoyed the portability of that A5 size, I want to go back to that larger size for this one. And this one will just be setting up those beginning spreads, migrating some spreads over from the last journal to this journal, and just making sure we're all ready to go for July. So that's the rundown. Let's get to it. All right, guys, before we move on to the new journal, we're going to plan the migration, and I just love how packed this journal is. So for planning the migration, I go through all of my beginning and collection spreads and decide what I want to keep and migrate over to the new journal, what I want to just scrap, and new spreads I may want to add in. In this case, I'm getting rid of my TBR list because I have a smaller reading journal, so there's no need to have a duplicate of that in the new journal. But once I have that all figured out and determined the order, we're ready to go. The new journal is a bit larger, so let's adjust that. Let's just, yeah. So this beauty is the Vernal B5 Archer and Olive notebook from the spring collection, and I absolutely love these gold floral imprints on the front so much. It's vegan leather, 160 GSM, includes 2 bookmarks, and of course comes with an elastic closure and a pin loop. The pages are bright white and there's a pocket in the back as well. I'm an Archer and Olive affiliate, so if you're interested in grabbing this journal or any journal, be sure to use my affiliate code Royal10 for 10% off over there. So inside cover, it's just kind of my thing to cover up the whole "this book belongs to" section and instead make my own. So I've got some craft paper here and I'm just drawing in a script J and writing my name in under that with a white Jelly Roll pen. And I indeed too have drank the bullet journal community Kool-Aid. There will be copious amounts of stars and sparkles in this setup, so just be warned. But once I have that in there, I decided to actually use the inside cover for my key because why not? There's space there. I definitely have my key ingrained in my brain, but years down the line, if I end up changing my key and want to reference something in this particular journal, it's just nice to know that past Julia was looking out. I'm also putting in my master project key here as well. I've spoken about this quite a bit recently, but this has just been really great for design projects and having a standalone key for those things that directly relate to my job as a graphic designer, such as when proofs are going out or I need to follow up on a project. So I'm finishing this inside cover off with a little place for contact information just in case I forget my journal somewhere, and then I'm going to add even more sparkles across the entire spread. Oh yeah, and I decided I didn't like my name, so I'm just going over it with a brown acrylograph, and yay, this journal has officially been broken in with the first spread. Now onto the next spread. I'm straight up gluing these together because I don't like to deal with that first page not opening all the way. So I went in with this with the same kind of mindset I did with my 2020 migration, and I want to just do it here as well. I'm sort of just refreshing my 2021 setup as far as the look and feel, and I feel like I'm supersizing everything since I'm in a larger notebook this time. So I have my pattern paper, the other half of that same envelope I used back in December for my 2021 setup, and my pulpy textured printmaking paper. I've also got some more craft paper for my 2021 cover page here. The quote is a little play off of the quote I used in my last journal, but for this one, it's "Note to self, you're halfway there. Remember, you still got this." And it was just super fun to revisit and do a play on that quote a bit. And you'll see me do this a lot with the headers throughout the setup, going in with a mild liner first, and then on top of it with a bit of a loose offset with a fine liner. And if you've been hanging out for a while, this is definitely going to look familiar as well. I'm knocking out that 21 with the brown acrylograph and filling the rest of that circle in with this gold zigzag pattern. And again, I love this gold paint pen so much. I'll leave a link to this and to as many supplies as I can down in the description. And since this paint pen is just so beastly, the only option I have to write on top of it is with a Sharpie. But since I have two 160 GSM layers, it doesn't bleed or goes through at all. I also thought this go around, just to add something different to the aesthetic, I'd add in some gold waves and coral dots. Adding in the coral color in general is fun because it just relates back to the color of the journal itself. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to mention earlier that I want to try tabs for these beginning spreads, but the tabs aren't severe at all. I'm only cutting out the right margin here, so I'm not losing any dot grid spaces. But I'm thinking these starter spreads will be easier to find with the tabs, so I'm going to be starting off each spread with creating a different colored tab. But this spread gives me pretty not so great flashbacks. It's the 2021 photos spread, and last time I did this one, I used acrylic paint for the Polaroids, if you remember that debacle, and I didn't let them dry all the way, and my pages stuck together, and it was horrible, and I had to redo the entire spread. So this time, I decided to not only add in two larger sections just for miscellaneous photos I may want to add in, but I'm also using gouache this time around since I already know it's not going to give me that same stickiness once it's dry. But as you can see, I've taped off the Polaroids, I'm adding in some paint, and then my battery died, so I don't have footage of me peeling the paint or writing in the months, but I did that, and I got a little painty mess on the page, but it's all good. Not too pressed about it, mostly because the spread was not a nightmare, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll link that first 2021 setup in the cards. And for these larger photo areas, I wanted to put a fun wavy background that will maybe peek through and just give a cute backdrop once I start populating this with photos. And then I'm adding in my usual gold accents and washi tape to fill out the page a little bit. The last thing for this spread is the header. I'm using that offset style and making the letters bubbly and bouncy with the mild liner and then going over it again really loosely with the fine liner. And that's the photo spread. Really looking forward to filling this up. It's definitely one of my favorite full spreads to look back on. The next spread is the future log, and this is definitely a must-have spread for me as far as function goes. This is a very wide view of any important dates from August 2021 all the way to February 2022. I thought it was important to at least include a couple of months out of 2022 because I noticed that when it gets closer to November or December, I still want a place to add in events or meetings for those upcoming months, and I may not have already set up my new yearly spread yet, so I just thought that was smart to include this time around. And then since I'm now spoiled by not having to write in all these mini calendars, I'm using my own calendar stickers, which can be found in my Etsy shop, and I'll link that down below. But they're matte, so you can draw and color on them no problem. So I decided that I wanted to combine my future log page with sort of a theme tracker, so right under the calendar I'm leaving space for a little doodle or maybe a sticker from the Patreon kit that represents the monthly theme. And I had an entire page for this in my last journal, but I thought that this would be a fun place to sort of relocate that because it's a page that gets referenced every month, so I'll end up seeing it. I ended up not loving the number headers here, so I'm covering that all up with craft paper and just making it a little more understated and simple here. And with that change, the future log is a little messy for whatever reason, in my opinion, but it's set up and it's functional. Okay, this next spread is pretty awesome because I'm consolidating what would have been 3 or 4 pages in my A5 journal into this one spread. This will actually be kind of like a dashboard style for sizes and measurements for me and my boyfriend, a gift list, a when did I last chart, and a Logofolio list, so that's a lot going on for this one spread. For the sizes and measurements portion, I'm drawing little icons for clothing items I may want to get my boyfriend for birthdays or Christmas, and I'll just be writing in the sizes underneath. Love this one so I don't have to go all stealthy mode around the house to try to figure out his sizes. The section underneath, I'll put in my current measurements, and I love having this reference because it's hard out here in these online shopping streets, and just being able to quickly compare different size charts to my actual measurements has made shopping online so much easier. Highly recommend. And the section below is a gift list, and it's pretty straightforward. I'll have a column for who the gift is for, what it is, if it's ordered or paid for, and if it's been delivered to the recipient. The header for this one is just a fun little gift tag with the same lettering I've been using throughout the setup. And over on the right side, I'm beefing up my when did I last chart, and this will be a place where I can keep track of chores that aren't as frequent. Things like cleaning my car, cleaning the fridge, and moving photos from my phone to the computer. And I mean, what's a setup without Julia just not knowing how to use a ruler? So, yay. The last section in the spread is my Logofolio, and this is a place where I like to just list out all the different logos my partner and I complete. This isn't just fun to look back on, it definitely helps us out when we want to do like an Instagram post on a project or if we want to refresh our portfolio. Finishing this one off, I'm just adding in an alternating row color so it's easier to navigate that larger chart. The last spread in the setup is another dashboard style spread that includes my period tracker, yearly focus chart, and a travel diary. Again, here I'm going to pop in those monthly calendar stickers and the header for the period tracker. I thought my little menstrual cups were adorable last time around, so I'm bringing back those doodles for this one as well. If you've seen my monthly setups, you know I like to include a focus check-in so I don't forget about those yearly goals I set back in January. For this section, I'll just be migrating those goals over into the same 4 sections: work, art, relationships, and health. I forgot to actually write in those categories while filming, but I will go back and add those in when I'm ready to pull information from my previous journal. A small new section I'm adding in under the travel diary is just a place to write in any places I want to check out. This could be restaurants, museums, local or far away. Cam and I get a lot of recommendations, especially places around the state of New Mexico, so having a centralized place for those I think will come in handy. And finally, the travel diary is where I'll keep up with any overnight trips we make throughout the year. I'll be migrating over the ones we've taken so far, but there's space to draw in the flag of said place. I love flags, so this is just always fun to me, and just some details about where, when, and why we went somewhere. Adding in the final touches and accents here, and that's the last spread for this new bullet journal setup. I always forget to film this, but I also knocked out a dot grid spacing guide in the very back of the journal as a quick reference for dividing the page up for different spreads. And as we're getting into the final flip through, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and yeah, let me know what spreads you like to include when you set up a brand new bullet journal, because I love hearing what you guys are doing out there. Thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And if you like this video, here are a couple more I think you would enjoy.